What is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 7 of the 49er Media Captain Show, where we're going to be going through every single 49ers draft pick. We were going to be going over the undrafted players, but it hasn't been confirmed by the Niners. It hasn't been official yet, so we're probably going to wait on that and talk about that next week. But how we doing, Jason?
Good, man. How you doing? How was your final today?
Well, actually, a little bit under the weather, but other than that,
Still worn out from the weekend?
it's just like, I don't know. I woke up this morning, I'm like, oh, a little bit of a runny nose, but hopefully it doesn't get too bad.
Yeah, but I thought it was a great draft. It's good having you with us, for the entire weekend and everything with that. But yeah, I'm excited for this draft class. I know there's definitely some controversy over parts of it, but overall, I thought it did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, I've also seen analysts, for the most part, give them like a B plus. I've seen couple C's, but I feel like a lot of times I've always seen these analysts like absolutely just hate on their draft picks in the past few years, where I'm just seeing D, C's. Like,
Yeah.
again, majority of them I've kind of seen B's, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, and let's be honest, most of it's because of one particular pick, and that would be the first pick was Ricky Pearsall. You take away that, I think the rest of this draft is, for the most part, filling needs, getting stuff that we need, but that's the only quote controversial one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is the first week we don't actually have news that we have to talk about, and we're able to just jump right into the draft class and spend maybe a little bit more time on them. So let's see.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. No more rumors or anything.
In the chat, yep.
No more mock drafts. Tune in next year.
I don't even know if I will do mock drafts anymore because I just realized that we totally don't know information obviously that the teams know, and it's like we're usually wrong. So,
but to me, that's part of the fun. I think I'm always going to do mock drafts. I'm fascinated by them.
But let's see. What up, California Man 4000? Appreciate you for being here.
What up, my dude?
Make sure if you guys are watching over on my channel, you go over to Niner Faithful, their channel, so that we can,
be cool and open up 2 tabs.
Yeah.
One for each channel.
And the Fifth Radio and my channel, basically. But let's get into the pick. So in pick number 1 in round 1, pick 31, was wide receiver Ricky Pearsall out of Florida. What are your thoughts?
Obviously came to me as quite a bit of a shock, especially when there was still, I want to say, Leggett and Xavier Worthy were still on the board. I don't dislike the pick. Don't get me anything wrong with that. I like the player. If you watched him in college, he's pretty damn explosive. He catches anything and everything that he can get his hands onto. Really good player. Like I said, did catch me for a little bit of a shocker. But in terms of I like this pick. He's going to be an explosive. I'm just curious where his role is this year. Does he automatically slide into that number 3 position? Or does that position still stay with Juwan Jennings right now as the slot guy? So we'll see. But I like the pick.
What would you grade the pick?
As just this pick itself?
Mm-hmm.
C plus?
Okay.
And that's nothing. I just think that with his value, was he really the number 1 ranked player on their board for them? Honestly, because he was the 89th ranked player or something like that. But I'm not so. And like I said, I don't want it to come off as I'm criticizing them picking him. It's just that, and I know we'll never find out. I'd like to hear the thought process of why we didn't get, something that what we all assumed was a bigger need, and something, shoring up the offensive lineman. There were still some good offensive linemen on the board at that point. Stuff like that. So I'm gonna say C plus, B minus, and I do like the pick.
Okay, yeah. I'm just kind of looking at the rankings. So ESPN, they had him as the ninth ranked wide receiver in the draft, and he was overall ranked 35. So I mean, actually wasn't that big of a reach if you think about it, because the Niners were
I
at
swear
31.
PFF had him a lot lower. I could be wrong, but
Yeah. But I actually, this pick definitely came as a shocker. Now, I was one of those guys that's like, there's no way they're drafting a wide receiver. I know Matt Mayako had reported that they could be drafting wide receiver, and I was like, there's no way that they draft a wide receiver. They've got to go offensive line, or knowing them, they might go defensive tackle or edge, and
yeah,
this came at a surprise. But this guy's a workhorse. I think he's going to fit fairly well. I think that the biggest thing we kind of have to realize, and I actually kind of realized after the draft, is, you know what? A lot of times people are like, okay, this guy's ranked here. But if you think about it, it's about the scheme and the fit as well. So teams are going to have, certain guys at a different spots on their board. And they may not even have a certain guy on their board because they're just
like
not
a
a fit.
Michael Penix with the Falcons.
But yeah, I'd say probably a C as of now. This very well could become a BA type of thing where we're just totally wrong. I mean, I'm rooting for the guy, of course. He seems like a pretty awesome guy. A theme kind of see as a lot of these guys realize they want to help, like they want to help us win that Super Bowl and really get to work. So that's awesome to kind of see there. But what's up, TJ in the chat?
What up, my dude?
What up, Kenny?
Kenny the man. And the other thing about with this pick, man, does it ever change my thought process for the wide receiver room? Like I thought, okay, I'm pretty sure I knew what. Like I wasn't surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised that we would take a wide receiver. But I will admit that I was surprised that we took him and with our first round draft. But taking one so high, yeah, that completely changes what I thought about the wide receiver room. I thought Ronnie Bell had an okay kind of a rookie season. What is he? What's he? What's his status now? Of course, obviously, I think we all agree Danny Gray's probably gone. Mm-hmm. What are we going to do with someone like Trent Taylor that we just signed, Conley, Tay Martin, all those guys? It completely changes all of it.
Mm-hmm. Now, what I love about this, and I don't want to get too much into it because there is another guy that we will talk about. What I love is the depth, though, at the wide receiver room now, because what I see from Pearsall, which was lacking, and I even said this, like I was even just talking to people in chat and stuff before the draft, and I'm like, the Niners need to get another receiver that can actually run routes. We love Deebo Samuel, but that's the one thing that Deebo lacks is the route running. He's great with those, screen plays and those short plays and getting the yak. But again, I feel like you need another route runner. And you kind of saw that in the Super Bowl where, the man
no
defense.
Separation.
Yeah, there was no separation. The man defense by the Chiefs was outstanding. So if you're able to put guys who can actually run routes and there's multiple other good eyes, I think that's good. So that's what I do like about this pick, even though I'm giving it a, kind of lower type of grade. So
are you kind of like with me? We're not necessarily low on the pick. It's more of like the pick value for what we had. Is that like that? A lot of people have seen they'll jump down and go, "Oh, you just don't like him." It's like, no, it's not that I don't like it. Yeah. I just thought that for a first round that high, it was just like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, also they probably they probably fielded some offers to even trade down a little bit, but they didn't want to do that, and they probably knew, okay, a team like Washington, Adam Peters might end up snagging him, and we all know it hurt them in the draft later because they looked like they wanted to get Roger Rosengarten from Washington, but
he got swooped up.
But then that's why I think they traded down to kind of give them a little bit more time to figure out, okay, who are they picking now? So speaking of that, round 2, pick 64. So they did trade down with the Kansas City Chiefs, which hurts me to say that because then they the Chiefs, of course, took an offensive tackle from BYU and Kingsley Sumatea. So that kind of was broken. But I do like this pick. I know some of the media is like, oh, he's a fifth, sixth round pick. I mean, I don't see that. I love his physicality. Now, the only thing is he's a little touchy, but that's something you can teach and, figure out. The one thing you can't really teach is the physicality, and being that kind of press man type of guy. So,
yeah, I think these first two picks that, again, watching his tapes and getting more, what's up, Steve-O? Getting to see him more. I love how physical he is and the fact that he's going to get in your face. He's going to go for those pass deflections and stuff like that. And while you can teach him not being so handsy all the time, what you can't really teach is the fact that he's not scared to get up into somebody's face and contest the ball. I love that. It's one of the things I actually loved about Demo when he first came out was the fact that, he, again, he had to be taught to dial it back just enough to where, you're not causing constant penalties and everything. So obviously we've got the coaches that can teach them, just dial it back just a little bit to where you're still that physical cover guy, but you're not, giving up all those penalties. He seems to be a great fit in press coverage from what I've seen so far. So again, perfect for our coverage. Again, I would say this one probably going to give it probably along the same thing, like a C+, B-, only because, again, probably would have been available a little bit lower on the board from what, at least going from what everybody saw. So, I mean, because there was still quite a few cornerbacks that we'd seen that were ranked much higher than him on the board. But again, if this guy works out, like I said, I love his attitude with how he plays and everything. So,
yeah,
C+.
Yeah, I'm giving it to that because ESPN has him ranked as the 15th corner and overall 106, and we took him at 64. So definitely, I'd say kind of a reach, but I think he fits really well, like you said. The physicality with him, and he played that star. He probably could play that star position. I know we kind of talked about it during our live and stuff during the draft actually, which is something. Can I think of his name? The guy that we hired from the Chargers,
Brandon Staley.
Yeah, Brandon Staley. He kind of had that method with one of his safeties in Derwin James. So it's going to be interesting. What I do like about this guy is he's versatile. I do think he needs to put more weight on, though. That's one thing for sure, which I'm not too concerned because a lot of times players do come in and, you do have to do some kind of retooling on these players and things. It's not.
They'll put 5 to 10 pounds on them.
Yeah.
You get them on that good, high protein diet, and these guys working out, they'll put a good 10 pounds on him.
Yeah, so I'm not worried because that's very common. What's up?
Talofa Falua. How's it going, my brother?
Let's go MIDI. So yeah, next pick on the board is round 3 pick 86, offensive lineman Dominique Puny from Kansas. How do you like this one?
Low-key, I think this is the best pick of the draft. We got a guy who, I know we talked about him playing guard, tackle, center. He can legitimately play every position, left and right side on this line. It's going to be interesting to see where exactly he fits in. Can he slide in? Depending on how we like. He could play right tackle if needed be. He could also play left guard, maybe kick John Feliciano out to right tackle. Mm-hmm. So his versatility, we could say he could even play center, but then there's some people that we brought in who were actual centers kind of thing, so that, to play that position. So I like the fact that he is very versatile. I want to say it was like 720 snaps in a row without giving up any sort of a sack or anything like that. So, I mean, he's good. He's very damn good. I love the way he moves. He's really good, it seems to be, with getting up to like the second level stuff and all that. Still a little raw in other places, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, I think he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be ending up being a starter for us for years to come.
What are you giving the overall grade for this one?
This one I'm gonna give him an A.
Okay. I'm a little bit lower on him, but so I'm gonna give him a B. But what I do like you said, is he is very versatile, especially in the interior. Personally, don't like him at tackle as much. Watching the film, that definitely was an area where he isn't the best. Um, but the one thing about the Niners that was said in the pre-draft press conference from John Lynch is you don't just draft guys just to draft guys on the offensive line. That's what you kind of want to know, the culture of them and how you think they'll actually fit on your offensive line. And they're going to start him over at the right guard spot, it sounds like. So, yeah, I think this was solid. Again, it's not the big name, splashy name that we were probably thinking of, like Graham Barden or any of the, or Cooper Beebe, for example. But honestly, I think this is a very solid pick. So. Let's see. Gotta admit, I was one of those who disliked our first pick. The more I watch and learn about him, I like the pick. He might push you on his foot paint. Yeah, that's how I kind of felt too. It was just I needed to watch the film because he wasn't a guy that I actually scouted at all. So,
I
slept
knew
on
of
it.
him,
Yeah, I
especially
did
the
too,
big
but I
catch we all
just
saw.
didn't really know about him. Like I had heard the name, but. Yeah, I don't know if he'll actually really take playing time from Jawan Jennings. I think this is a guy that could really contribute in special teams, maybe in the return game as well. So yeah, we'll see. But Pooney's pick an A plus plus. He'll be our tackle. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if he'll play tackle, like I said, but.
Me and Sole are a little biased, considering
Hey, but that's what camp is for. You figure it out.
Yep. So we're biased for all our Polynesian guys. Shout out to all. That was a good draft for us Polynesians.
Yeah. Next up on the pick, which I think this is one of my favorites, round 4 pick 124, Malik Mustafa out of Wake Forest. Absolutely love this pick.
Yeah, this guy's coming to hit. I think, where is it? The Steve-O's comment earlier about what are we just going to put 3 safeties in the box and this and that. I think he's going to be kind of for right now, maybe a long-term replacement for short-term, maybe like a Greg Odom type of things. Get some time in on special teams.
Sure.
Maybe start. Yeah, depending on how the situation is at the safety position to start the year, maybe get some playing time back there. I saw a report right before we go on, just to add into all this safety stuff, is that the 49ers are showing some interest in Jamal Adams, formerly of the Seahawks.
Really?
Yeah. That was being reported by Bob Kandata of the Seattle Times. So, because we're still, besides Jair Brown up starting, who knows exactly what we're going to be doing back there currently. So, but yeah, like I said, and I don't know if you saw the picture that I posted. This man is built like Adonis. He is just solid. I want to see a pose off between him and Nick Bosa with how these guys' physiques are, because he is cut to the nines and everything. So, I mean, big hitter, can, get from one place to another. I like the pick. I'm going to give this one a B minus to a B.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna give this a B as well. The only thing is he's only 5'10", so that concerns me a little bit. But if you're using him as a blitzer and things like that, I think, like you said, special teams. I think he might kind of get the Hufanga treatment that he was the rookie, where Hufanga kind of came in at times. But like you said, he's a hard hitter. He actually is a 49ers fan too, which is an awesome story. Also, I don't know if you saw, but there is a video on YouTube. He is so super emotional, and
I did watch that. His
very excited to. Yeah, so also another versatile guy like Renardo Green, which these are the type of safeties the Niners like because even guys like Jair Brown and Hufanga have that
Yeah,
ability.
like I said, they play that hybrid safety slash linebacker role, and this another guy built like that, where it's just built in. Uh, it's someone who built in right, almost fits perfectly with the system. It's Paulie until I saw a tattoo. Yeah.
I know. I feel like I usually am like, oh, they all usually have tattoos.
Well, his is a pretty short one though. It's only just a forearm area. It doesn't go all the way up or anything.
Yeah. Next up on the other fourth round pick with 129, and they actually traded up for this guy, which is so funny because it seems like every time they've traded up for a running back, it just does not work out. Trey Sermon. I don't remember if they traded up for TDP or not, but
I feel like they did. I want to say that they did.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they did, but Isaiah Guerrero, honestly, I was pretty high on this pick when I first saw it, but then I went back and kind of watched the film. He does, I like his speed and all, but he is a little bit slow to cut through the holes at times. So I'm gonna give this probably like a B minus C plus.
I'm right now. I'm going to give it a C plus just because I forget who I was listening to talk about it. With that size and everything, what do you think about him maybe being like a long-term replacement for Juice instead of being an actual running back? And I think he actually fits that role. Seeing, because I'd seen something about that speed side where he hit that 40, but it's almost like someone who trains so much for that one specific thing to knock it, to get up better. But then you look at him play; he doesn't necessarily play with that same speed. He is fast, but doesn't transfer to the field as well. But with his versatility and stuff like that, I think he's going to take some plays away from like Eli Mitchell, Mason, and all those guys simply because he just pass blocks better. Granted, that is at a different level and all that kind of stuff, but his pass blocking is much better than on paper than those two. So he's probably going to get snaps right away just because of that. But I like the idea. Someone, I forget who it was that I was listening to on one of the million podcasts I listened to, but they had talked about maybe him being a long-term replacement for Juice. And now that idea I really liked for him.
Yeah, I mean, we also have Braden Willis, who, that's kind of interesting because I know he's able to play some fullback, but
I still think he's the long-term replacement at tight end, though.
Yeah. I'm just going to come out on a limb here and say this might be kind of surprising to you guys, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for it, but I think Mr. Cody Schrader, the undrafted free agent, as long as he's able to block, makes it over Jordan Mason. I'm just going to come out on a limb, and that's my kind of hot take when it comes to the 53-man roster, because that's the one thing also Guerrero does well is block, and that could also give him some playing time, behind CMC other than just, special teams, which obviously is important, which John Lynch kind of mentioned too in the pressers. For his career, the first few years he was playing special teams, and then he got the chance to, finally actually play the safety position. So
now, if you had just said Eli, I'd be 100%, but that's JP Mason. Ooh,
that's a hot take, man.
I get it. Like I said, but I do agree. So with Danny Gray being looking like the obvious odd man out in the wide receiver room, can we kind of say the same thing about Eli Mitchell now?
Yeah, you could. But I'm gonna so kind of with you on the grading as well. The next one is my favorite pick. A wide receiver out of Arizona, bear down, Jacob Cowing. I am giving this an A all over it.
Oh, if you guys could have seen his reaction live. In fact, I want to see if it's up on here.
He was he went right where you kind of expected him to go. He was a 4th round pick, and kind of the reason for that is he is undersized, but that undersized, like him being undersized, especially at Arizona, like he didn't have an issue with that. And the nice thing is he's able to run pretty much every route. I actually was listening to Guy Haberman. He had one of the very great Arizona reporters, Jason Shear, on there. So I recommend you guys go check it out if you haven't. But what he says is like, I actually didn't really know this too much about the Arizona offense, but they are a pro style offense and they go with the mentality of no rock, no block too. So that's perfect because Cowan was a guy that had to block at Arizona, and we all know Kyle Shanahan. Again, that's a motto that we live by with Kyle Shanahan: no rock, no block. So, yeah.
All right, so I want y'all to see this reaction from Anshel that he had during our draft watch. So here we go.
I will also be posting it, but yeah.
Yep. Here it is.
Let me just get rid of our banner real quick.
It kind of fits up. It kind of fits perfectly. You got TJ one side and you on the other side.
Oh, okay.
We're getting some booze
Turn your speakers down, everybody. Just
for the faithful.
Yeah, turn the speakers down because there's some warning.
it gets a little loud in here for a second.
The pick is in for the Empire.
Let's go!
Oh, Mark.
Let's fucking go!
Who is it? Hold on, I'm excited. Hey, big shout out to Mark for doing the draft pick. Hey, hold on. I gotta turn the volume up and hear my homie.
Let's fucking go, baby.
So as you can see, your boy was pretty. Your boy over there, Anshel, was pretty excited when he got that pick in. It was funny because I saw the pick on my phone before it got on there. That's what I wrote that snap part on there. So I was like, oh, let's see what's gonna happen here. Because I was expecting that big old excitement, and you brought it on that one.
You know what's so funny? I kept going back and watching it, but I was going over like the best available with TJ, and I'm like, I could, you know how I was saying I could see us drafting another receiver, and that ended up happening, and I was like, number 6 on the ESPN is Jacob Cowan, and then literally we ended up drafting Jacob Cowan.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts about this one?
This one, I will say that drafting another wide receiver was quite a shock to me. I was like, wow. So take everything I said about Ricky Parcells and the whole wide receiver room and now just make it even tighter. We've got, 11 wide receivers currently?
And we got 3 guys who are good route runners now.
Yeah. So I love his speed. Say what you want. Danny Gray has just not worked out for whatever reason.
Injuries, unable to run routes.
Yeah, so for whatever, take it, whatever you want to say, Danny Gray hasn't worked out. And I know a lot of people, I've heard people say that this system doesn't need a speed receiver. Well, you look all the way back to when he was coaching the Redskins at the time. They've always had a speed guy. We just haven't found that right speed guy. We've tried it a few times with different people. It just hasn't worked out. So now we have a legitimate speed guy. And then I want to see what he does as far as like returning, who's going to return kicks? Is it going to be Cowling or is it going to be Pearsall? I like the idea of having, an actual kick return competition in camp between those two. Because if those two guys, with their speed, if they get a hole, they're gone, especially with the new, the way the new kickoffs are set up and everything like that. As soon as they hit a hole, a little bit, we're gone. Let's see. Oh, and as far as this fellow, my family's from Alawao. You can call me the snowbird. We're up there on the mountain.
Yep. Stia says, usually Anshel has no mention to. Hey, man. If we get Arizona, all I'm going to say is I'm warning you a year from now, but you're going to get the exact same thing next year where I'm just going to be like, draft this guy from Arizona because we're going to have, I think, at least 3 guys in the draft next year. So I'm just warning you.
Let me guess. One of those is a tackle.
Yup.
Yep, I
And-
heard they were talking
and-
about him this morning on another show I was listening to this morning. They were talking about him quite a bit.
And I believe he's Samoan too, actually.
Yeah, I forget the name, but yeah, they was talking about him. Also, for those of you guys who don't know, I was not part of the broadcast at that time. I was doing stuff around my house. It was just TJ and Anshel, as you can see in the video. I had my speakers on, and my cat just came flying out of the room at about 100 miles an hour because I had my speakers cranked a little bit because I was around the corner in the bathroom, cleaning my bathroom and everything, and just like I said, it's next door over, so it's just I have a car.
Oh man. Yeah, and when I post that, I'm probably gonna have to put a little bit of a warning that.
Oh yeah, turn the speakers down. What up, Crazy? How you doing, my brother?
What up, Crazy Juice? Appreciate everyone in here, by the way. Make sure you smash that
Indeed.
like and subscribe button. Alrighty, next pick. This one I'm not as big of a fan on. Probably the next two, to be honest. But round 6, pick 215, Jarrett Kingston from USC.
This one, it sounds kind of like I'm saying it over and over. Just finally got some more help at guard. We definitely need some line depth, obviously. I think watching where some of these guys for the offensive line end up being with some of these camp battles is going to be quite interesting. How do we watch everyone's reaction? Yeah, literally everybody was on. Everybody was streaming the draft.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna give this kind of a C minus. I'm hoping that we're able to actually than USC, because that's the one thing is USC to me is so overrated when it actually comes to NFL draft picks because they just don't know how to use guys. He was at Washington State before that, but another theme I forgot to mention is all these guys, I think, except for maybe Mustafa, is they are all 5-year guys, technically like veterans, you can kind of say. So that's kind of interesting too.
It was 160er.
Yeah.
Stevo Talofa in Samoan means hello.
But alrighty, the next pick, round 7, pick 251, the final pick of the draft, linebacker Tatum Bethune.
Saw some pretty good tape on him. Seems to wrap up pretty good, which is something I'm always a fan of. Doesn't seem to do the whole shoulder tackle thing that a lot of people do a whole lot of. So it was nice to see someone coming into the league already being able to wrap up when they hit. It's one of the things I absolutely loved about Jair Brown is Jair Brown doesn't shoulder tackle. He actually wraps up and tackles people. I did like seeing that on him. But again, even the linebacker room is getting a little bit of getting kind of crowded right now.
Crowded, yeah. Yeah, now this was a guy that they had a top 30 visit as well with. I don't know. I'm not as high on him. I did watch some tape. To me, he's like a big blitzer, and then he's able to like wrap up those run tackles. But I need to see a little bit more of him in coverage. So I'm a little bit down on this one. I'm probably going to give it like a C minus.
Yeah, like I said, most of me is just like I said, the tape I saw him, he wraps up. He finishes tackles. I was like, okay, well, I can definitely, work with something like that.
Yeah. It's just I really don't see what's going to happen because, yes, Dre Greenlaw obviously is hurt. So then you have D Winters, Jalen Graham, and then, is DFF going to still make this team or?
Yeah, again,
they also signed Devondre Campbell. So, like,
does he make the team over Devondre Campbell?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's a little long in the tooth. Maybe we get someone a little bit faster. Campbell's worst thing about him right now is he's slow on coverage.
Yeah.
So, someone with a little bit more speed, I would love to see that over him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So those are basically all the picks that the 49ers made, I think, a pretty solid draft for the Niners. A lot of experienced guys.
I like that. I like the fact they went with a lot
Yeah.
of 5th and 6th-year seniors.
Mhm.
Just because you come in, you're definitely obviously more ready to play. But that extra year of experience where you don't have to do as much getting them ready kind of a thing. So let's see. No, our lads has it listed as who they had as the oh no, it's just rookie. Never mind. I thought our lads set it up as who they were having as the gold helmets, but it's just gold as rookies for their colors.
Yeah, now this one was definitely not a reach because they had him as the 15th best linebacker and overall 199. So it's actually still good value. But yeah, I think this training camp is going to be one heck of a story this year. I'm hoping I can at least go to a few of them because, man, oh man, it's going to be fun to watch the linebacking core, the running back core, the wide receiver core. It's about to be.
There's just so much right now. One, two. So yeah. So at least for our lads, and take this with the guy. They went ahead and slid in Pooney as the starting right tackle and dropped Feliciano as
Is
the
this
back.
on ESPN or?
No, our lads.
Oh, okay.
They keep mostly their site is keeping up to date moments for positions.
Interesting. Check
It's one I've used for years to keep up to date on how the rosters looks and everything like that.
Okay.
I mean, even the tight end room, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now. Especially when we brought in Mason.
Mm-hmm.
As it's just like So
if
so
he is
much.
one of the guys that actually, because again, like we've seen that they're kind of, I think, been over-reported, so that's why we're kind of waiting to just go into it. But all I'm gonna say is there's a few guys I think could be gems, but
yes, there's one guy on there I think for sure is going to be a gem. Someone just posted a thing and says, Steelers trade for Debo or
yeah, I saw that.
So, I'm thinking we were probably going to get a few cuts right at the beginning of training camp. Let some of these guys have a chance with getting on the other teams. Was a probable corona pause.
Do you okay? I mean, I had probably seen it, but is there any free agent you could see the Niners bringing in?
Actual free agents still?
Yes.
Oh, shoot. I'll say one Gibson. I'm pretty sure. Let's see, what do we have up there for right now? So, free safety, we've got Jair Brown, George Odom, Taylor Hawkins, and then Jalen Mahoney. And then at strong side, we've got Hufanga, Malik Mustafa, and then Eric Harris. So we don't have a whole lot of veterans back there. I guess George Odom and Taylor Hawkins, but I really don't necessarily want them on the field kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, for some reason, they're just uncomfortable with how that back end is forming up. I could definitely see them giving Gibson a call.
Yeah.
Let's see best.
I actually was thinking we might have heard of Gibson retiring like during the draft, but and I was like kind of surprised we didn't hear anything. So
yeah, makes you wonder if they're still that small, little bit out there.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm pulling up sports, see who the best available is.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk undrafted free agents next week.
Well, one of the guys I talked about earlier about the whole, speaking of free safety, strong safety, Jamal Adams is still out there. We could go get a little crazy and get someone like David Bakhtiari, coming from the Packers. Let's see who else is out there. There's J.C. Jackson, Hunter Renfrew,
think we have enough receivers now.
I know. I was say Odell is still out there. Quandre Diggs is still out there.
Hmm.
Michael Gallup is still out there.
Yeah.
Yannick Ngakoue is still out there. I wouldn't mind having him.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be too bad. Stephon Gilmore, maybe.
I'm okay on that one. I'm a nah on that one.
Fletcher Cox still out there. Yeah, there's still.
Didn't he retire? I thought.
I don't know. It's still listing him as a free agent. Yeah, there's still quite. Yeah. Jamal Agnew still out there. Wow, there's quite a bit of. But see, all these guys that I'm naming off, even right then, it's just like, nah, what we have, I'd rather see these guys battle out in camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently someone made it a point where it's Malik, not Malik.
Oh, that's right. It's Malik, yeah.
Yeah, Malik. I forget who it was that they were making it very clear that his name is Malik, not Malik. But I'll wait until I actually hear him pronounce it.
I think if you maybe go to his interview that they did after the draft, I think you might hear it. But yeah, it's I guess Malik. I just totally forgot. Oh, yeah. I guess we kind of showed the video, but yeah, I forgot to pull this up when we were talking about Cowing, but
it was a great moment. Probably the highlight of the weekend. The only highlight would have been better is if we had picked Jordan Mason at 31. That would have been the only one I could see you getting even more excited for.
Oh, you mean Jordan Morgan?
Or Jordan Morgan, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I would have been excited if we drafted any of the Arizona guys.
True.
Yeah.
Stop, Kenny. Stop.
No.
Look, I support my boy Cap, but that ship has sailed for about 3 years now.
Yeah, no. Dude, he's not. It's so dumb that there's always been rumors about him coming back to the NFL. It's not gonna happen.
It's 3-5 years too late. If it was gonna happen, it would have happened already. It's just not going.
Exactly.
We could argue whether or not the time or him coming back in the league was deserved or any of that kind of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We could argue that till the season starts.
Yeah.
But Bactavi.
Overall, what I'd say is I'm happy with this draft. We barely drafted defense. We didn't end up having to draft another defensive lineman.
Yeah, I expected at least one somewhere.
Yeah, but I'm okay that they didn't.
So that means right now your starting defensive tackles are going to be Malik Collins and Javon Hargrave.
Yep.
And then on the outside, you got Nick Bosa and Leonard Floyd, which, to be honest with you, I'm not against that as a starting four.
Oh, I like that. And then depth as you have Kevin Givens, Kalia Davis as your defensive tackles.
Jordan Elliott.
Oh, yeah, Jordan Elliott. And then you have
Yatir Matos.
Yeah, Mutra Gross Matos is edge/defensive tackle.
Yep.
And then you have Drake Jackson.
I was going to say, there's still some guy named Drake Jackson,
And then who
out there that does.
Didn't we sign? No, okay, we signed two.
T.Y. McGill's still there. Kalia Davis, Robert Beal.
Oh, yeah,
Alex
Robert
Barrett, Spencer Waige, Ernest Brown, Raymond Johnson, Evan Anderson.
Practice squad, 90-man roster people. So.
I mean, so that front four, actually, when you think about it, that's not a bad front four.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa, Malik Collins, Javon Hargrave, Leonard Floyd. We've had worse.
Yeah.
We have definitely had worse.
I am so confused what you guys are talking about over there, Ken.
I've completely. He went Superman with Neo before Zod, and and all of a sudden it's Kaepernick settlement. I'm like, what's going on?
I'm just totally lost. Sometimes these people that are a little too old, man, they just come out with these phrases, and I'm just like, I have no idea what you're talking.
Hey, I get Neo before Zod. That's a Superman phrase. I get that one. Depending on how old you are, depends on which version of Zod that you get.
Yeah. But anything else?
No, I think that's about it because we wanted to save the ooftas for when everything gets
Yeah,
confirmed.
because I just don't want to like talk about it and then be like, oh, well, this guy actually didn't.
Yeah.
They have been bringing in a lot of guys to like infights and stuff. Though.
Yes, there's been quite a guys. And speaking of things that being wrong, I guess the 49ers on purpose leaked out that they were going to take Cooper Beebe and Ricky Pearsall. Because before I saw the Ricky Pearsall stuff, I saw a ton of people tweeting out that not Cooper Beebe, Cooper DeJean, that the pick was Cooper DeJean. And then all of a sudden, about a minute and a half said, nope, we're wrong. It's not him. So interesting that they're still looking for those leaks inside the organization. It feels
apparently some people think it's like Mike Silver.
Mike Silver. No, it's what's his name? Kyle's friend that's on CBS. Chris Sims.
Yeah.
I don't know who Cooper is for you. Cooper DeJean or Cooper Beebe?
Bro, I've seen people call him Cooper DeJean, and I just cringe every time. I'm like, it literally says it in his name. It's DeJean.
But yeah, I don't think there's really much else to talk about, for at least for this one, because we gotta wait for everything to kind of settle down with the rest. And
yeah.
Have they said when the schedule is going to be released yet? I haven't seen anything.
No, I haven't.
Pre-date or anything like.
I tried searching for like a little bit ago, but I didn't find an actual date or anything.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, no, nothing out there.
Yep. How would you feel about Jamal Adams, though?
I don't like him.
Yeah.
I think I don't think. Personally, I don't think he fit the culture in this team. I've never liked him. I've always thought he is more mouth than player, and
his coverage skills just suck too.
That too. He's completely a box safety. There's no coverage in his game.
Mr. What we all call him, Mr. Blitz Boy.
Yeah. And then after seeing him, because obviously I saw a lot of him up here in Seattle, and seeing how just too much talk. He does too much talk, doesn't back it up on the field enough, kind of a thing. And
then he's always hurt. And
that's the other part is to bring up. He's constantly hurt at this point in his career. So
I'm like, we need someone that's not hurt because we need depth. And with Tufanga coming off the
give me old Deshaun Gibson back.
Yeah.
As old as he was old reliable.
Like, he slowed down it, you could tell, but I'd still take him, over Jamal Adams any day of the week.
Yeah, not even, there wouldn't be a hesitation. Yes. I wouldn't even let him finish quick. Do you want? Yes.
Yep.
Let's see.
Oh, interesting. Raiders just signed Michael Gallup. Did you see that the Cowboys signed their
Ezekiel Elliott?
Their center number 1? Yeah, Ezekiel Elliott.
That had to be a weird conversation coming back to the Cowboys.
Hey,
especially because he just had his best year over there with the Patriots, and all of a sudden they're gone.
Yeah. See, that's
gonna feel like Thanos. All the things we've done. Where does that bring?
I know they had that tiny guy from Kansas that they did to Deuce Vaughn and stuff, but I really thought they were going to draft a running back, and that was like kind of shocking.
So the best safeties available: Jamal Adams, Justin Simmons, Eddie Jackson, Quandre Diggs, Micah Hyde, Marcus May, J-Ron Kearse, Sean Gibson.
I used to be a fan of Marcus May, but not really anymore.
Yeah. Hyde would be interesting. Diggs,
I wouldn't mind Hyde.
Diggs would be another one that'd be interesting. But definitely still I would take Gibson over all of them.
Yeah.
Mostly because of the contract. The contract would be much nicer. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I don't, with Ezekiel coming back, I wouldn't mind seeing Dre put him on his ass again. Yes, Steve-O, we're not going over the UFDAs today simply because they're not 100% finalized. Things could still happen, so we made the decision to not do those this week.
Yeah, because I guess I've been counting and stuff, and it seems like they might be a few spots over. Now, they should, I think, be at 91 because they have that one guy that they signed that apparently doesn't count.
The international?
Yeah, but I'm not entirely sure because I still counted 93 players.
Yeah. Isaac Alacron.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure. So we don't want to give you guys the wrong information, then have to go back and, correct it. So once the Niners officially announce it next, hopefully, we should know by next week for sure.
Probably by the end of the week, I bet you they finalize it.
Yeah. So,
Kenny, that is an odd question, buddy. Question for Angelo and Cap. Is there such a thing as too much butter or too much cheese?
Cheese, no. Butter, yes.
I guess it depends on what you're putting on. If you're putting on so much butter on your toast that it's like melting the toast because it's just soggy, you've put too much butter on your toast. As far as cheese, yeah, I think there's no circumstance where I'm never going to say no, that's not enough cheese. No, you can't put too much cheese on it because when cooking pizza, if you put too much cheese on, it doesn't cook. So there is a limit to how much you can cook before your pizza is going to be undercooked and you have to burn it to cook it.
Yeah.
So I believe we've reached the end if we're talking about butter and cheese.
Yep. But alrighty, I don't want to just try to have filler and make this a little bit longer, so I think we'll just
get out before it completely takes a nosedive.
Appreciate everybody for tuning on in today. Make sure if you haven't hit that red subscribe button on both channels, like, subscribe, turn those notification bells on.
Indeed. Thank you, everybody. Bye, Fatai, Talaba.
Yes,
One love.
thank you, everybody. Peace.